This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, and welcome into another episode of The Wrecking Crew right here on MVP Sports. My name is Ricky Whitmer, and I'm joined, as I always am, with my battery mate, Tim Shaw. Tim, how we doing? Another week in the books.
Another week in the books. Great to have you here, Rick. I was so excited to talk about the Cubs this week. We've had quite the week, and I'm very excited. Man, I'm really happy about what's been happening. How about you?
Well, I'm going to say this. We're going to have a new segment on the show I'm surprising you with. It's going to be just to see how bad I look this year. So a little bit of preface, I should say, Tim. There's a NRL podcast I listen to, and they give betting tips at the end of their podcast. Well, each week they have a segment that starts off where it's called Face the Music, and they see how bad they were or how good they were. Well, I'm going to face the music because the record that I had the Cubs this week was very bad. The record that they did have this week was very good. We only lost one game.
4-1, yeah.
I had them only winning two.
To be fair, there is still a game to be played today that does count towards our predictions from last podcast, where you did say 2-6. I said 3-3. Currently, they are 4-1, and they have a game tonight. That actually kicks off right now. First pitch is happening right now.
You're like, right now it's happening, buddy.
You know, it's impossible to predict records that early, and I don't want to give you a bunch of shit for it, but yeah, you said 2-6.
I did.
And you've been so wrong on that.
So here's the thing.
Am I wrong to give you shit for it?
No, you're not. But here's the thing. I will defend myself. With the A's series, I got a big question answered. Remember, I did say that series against the Cubs is going to decide whether the A's are good this year or the Mariners just suck. Well, spoiler alert, the Mariners just suck. That's what I learned to start the year because the A's were not good in that series at all. And with the Padres, I overhyped them after their first, 7 games. And we're like, that's right. Their first 7 games were all at home. Of course they're going to win those games. They're at home, dummy. The first time they go on the road is to Wrigley, dummy. Should have probably swept the Padres. We should probably be 6-0 in this little streak, but I digress. But Tim, before we get into everything we're going to talk about the Cubs, quick little bit of housekeeping. Number 1, join the Discord. It's exactly where Tim was pointing, down below in the description. Great community for MVP. You can also support us, patreon.com. That is also in the description. And then last but not least, hit that sub button, that like button, comment, all that fun stuff. It helps the algorithm and also lets us know what you guys are thinking out there as well. Tim, great week for the Cubs. Like we said, they are currently this little stretch. We're going to count today. It hasn't happened yet, though. 5-1. Could go 6-1 if they beat the Rangers at home today. The biggest story this last week with the Cubs they have been crushing the ball. Absolutely murdering the ball. They're earning the nickname The Wrecking Crew again, potentially. Fun little stat that I have before I ask you the question that I usually ask. If you look at the splits for the Cubs right now, the number 2 batter, which right now it switches off whether it's my boy Seiya or Kyle Tucker. But if you look at that spot specifically, 48 at bats, the number 2 hole is producing 14 runs, 16 hits, 15 RBI, 6 home runs, only 11 strikeouts, and has an on Well, it has an OPS of 1 point, not 0.1, 1.258. Tim, my question for you. Cubs are hitting the ball great right now. Can they keep this up all season? And will this be the thing that overcomes our shoddy pitching at times?
I mean, number one, it better be the thing that overcomes our shoddy pitching.
It has to.
It has to be. If this team needs to succeed,
mm-hmm.
that's what needs to happen for our team to overcome the oh geez, why am I stalling on this? Anyways, yes, I do think that our offense is going to keep producing the way that they are. I think you're specifically talking about Kyle Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Tucker is definitely being portrayed and proven as the superhero we always needed. You know, he's our Iron Man coming in, hitting all the home runs, raking in all the RBIs,
mm-hmm.
even walking the most. You know, how can you ask for more from Kyle Tucker?
I mean, looking at the stats for Kyle so far, you said hitting the most. 5 home runs, leads the team. Leads the team. The only one that is less than home, like the next one below him is Seiya, who has 4 bombs. He's leading the team in RBIs, 15 so far. Total bases through these games to start the season, 35, leads the team. He's got the fourth best average on the team, but the most importantly, he has the second. Here's a quiz for you real quick. I know you love these. Second best OPS on the team at 1.202. Can you guess the one player who has a better OPS than Kyle Tucker on the Cubs right now?
Just because of the amount of hits he's already had for us, I would say Nico Horner.
This guy's only played 6 games for us so far.
Oh.
Doesn't play a lot. He switches off with a guy because they're behind the dish.
Matt Shaw?
Carson Kelly. Carson Kelly has a 1.427 OPS.
How could I ever dare to question the talent of a guy like Carson Kelly? I feel so ashamed, Ricky. I am besmirching the name of Carson Kelly.
He played very well against the D-backs.
He could go hit for the cycle?
Yeah.
I feel like I should retire this jersey. I shouldn't even be wearing this.
No, you don't.
Because I fucked up. I should have been talking about Carson Kelly.
You don't have to do that, but I will. So I am going to pose this question. This is what I'm going to say out there. Are the Cubs hitting the cover off the ball? Yes. Is Kyle Tucker, like you said, our Superman? He's the answer to our prayers. I will say, I love that the trade right away is paying dividends. Now, I sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. When people go, who won the trade? Like, there has to be a winner right away. Later on, you'll see like, oh, okay, wow, this team really won this trade. This one didn't. Very often, it's like, wow, this team won the trade right away after making it. I love to see that Kyle's producing, especially high in the lineup, batting number 2 in some cases. I am going to play devil's advocate, though, Tim, because we did take a look at ourselves. We reflected from last year, and you and I got caught in the hype vortex a lot last year. Sure. We were very hypey last year. We were the hype boys for the Cubs.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to throw this out here. It's a concern of mine, and I'm going to ask you should it be a real concern? You look at the teams we played. look at the pitchers we played. So for the Athletics, they had Estos on the mound. I'm probably saying that wrong. You had Severino, and then we faced Springs. Yes, Severino and Springs are two of the best pitchers for the A's, but let's be honest, you and I have had this discussion. Not all starting rotations are equal. Not all of them are equal. True. For the Padres, they were a good team, but you look at who we played. Vasquez on the mound. We also got Pivetta on the mound. He did very well. He did well for the Red Sox, but change of scenery. And then we faced Hart. We avoided guys like Dylan Cease this time around. So is it fair to say like, oh, dude, the Cubs are hitting the cover off the ball, but how many ace level guys, how many top level guys? Because the only games we've really lost this year, I mean, look at the two Dodger games. I know they were in Tokyo, but we faced their top rotation and we weren't able to get wins. So like, is this like, yeah, it's nice to be excited about this, but let's see how it goes. Maybe tonight against Evaldi. It's happening while we're recording. So as you guys see this, the answer will always be out there. Is it fair to say we haven't faced the toughest of pitchers in these last week, 2 series?
No, I would disagree. I wouldn't say it's fair to say we haven't seen the toughest of pitchers because we've seen tough pitchers.
Yeah.
If you were to say, did we get lucky? Maybe I can entertain that. In reality, in my opinion, we might be just that damn good.
I hope it's that one. I hope it's that one.
I think that great discipline on this team. I think there's great speed on this team, which really throws certain pitchers into a loop, especially when they have runners on base. I think more than most teams, we have incredible speed for most of our starting lineup.
Three guys have 3+ stolen bases so far.
There you go. I mean, like,
do you know who leads the team? That's a great
stat to have.
Do you know who leads the team?
No.
Nico Horner with 6. Nico's got 6. PCA's got 3. Tucker's got 3.
And this is a thing that kind of bugs me. Since last year into the beginning of this year, people kind of dog on Nico. He's leading the team in hits right now, and you know, you want to take a guess who led the team in hits last year?
Last year?
Was it
Ian? Oh, it was Nico. Okay.
The guy is an average machine, like, and not like he's an average player. Like, he's a batting average good guy in the lineup. You know?
Yeah.
And he's still doing it this year, and I'm proud that he's still doing it. He's stealing bases, obviously. That's what's important.
Well, and one thing I'm going to say is, first off, little behind the curtain, little jump cut there. My internet had a thing. Blame Comcast. But Tim, the one thing I want to say is, I think the main, because like I'm looking, yes, stats are and everything, but I'm looking at the stats last year for Nico, and I think the one thing that people might have the hardest problem with, and with me personally, I've had to like fight myself and get away from it. There are still so many people out there that just look at batting average. They look at batting average. It's the end all be all. Oh, you got a bad average, you're a bad player. You're only like Nico last year was hitting his lowest average he had since 2020, the COVID year, at 273. I mean, yeah, now you look at average, he's up to 261, but it's not about that. You look at his OPS from last year, 708. That's not terrible. He was still plus in WAR last year at 3.7. Yeah, it's not as high as it was in 2023 when he was a +5 WAR. But it's like, a guy, we see this so many times, a guy has a down year, not really a down year, but just a little bit less than what we're used to. And a fan base and players, or not players, fans, just jump all over him. He needs to be better. He needs to be doing this or doing that. And it's like, I like to see Nico right now kind of combating those people. And I'm not saying all Cub fans are like that, because it's not like that. It's just a select few that were harping on Nico in the offseason. And I will say this, I'm going to bring it back to somebody else. Kyle Tucker. You bring in a guy who's good for the team. He performs. That takes pressure off of this guy. He can then perform. And when you add a guy like that, it takes pressure off of guys. And Nico might be one of those guys that's like, hey, now I can just swing because I got Kyle here with me who helps the team.
I kind of disagree with the notion that Nico has not been living up to his
potential,
hype, okay. I guess would be the word. Potential, yes, fine. I think he's led our team in hits for the past 3 years. He had 176 hits, 170 something hits last year.
So
that's a great outing.
I'm going to correct you on one thing really quick. I just looked at it, and this probably is because of the last game. It's not much, but technically Nico is 2 right now on the team in hits. Kyle Tucker has 2 more hits.
Currently?
Yeah, Kyle Tucker has 2 more hits.
Well, okay. Okay, fine. Good jerk.
But you're right. He led the team with 159 hits last year.
And I'm not going to lie. I was very critical of Nico last year. But it was unfair. I realize that now. I mean, if you look at this roster right now, if you look at this lineup, you see who your superstar is. We all know who he is. It's Kyle Tucker. You see who your backup power guys are. That's Seiya and that's Hap. And you look at who you have as your solid dudes, and you have Nico, and you have Swanson.
Is his nickname just going to be Swansby?
I can't stop saying Swansby. I sound like I don't know who I'm talking about. I'm like Swanson, Swansby. What's his name? Swanson. And you got Bush in the way he is. Man, I really love our offense right now.
So
I really don't think we have a hole, especially with what is our worst spot in the lineup is our catchers, and they're hitting better than anybody in the lineup.
So I got this question for you, because you know how you love when I shoot random questions at you.
Carson Kelly, please.
No, this is a Nico Horner question. Do you remember what do you think was the last year Nico didn't lead the team in hits?
Right now?
2022. 2022.
Who did?
He had 20 hits less than Ian Happ. Happ had 155. Nico had 135. But I will say this. Ian Happ played about 20 more games that year and had about 100, almost like 90 to 100 more ABs than Nico. So there's that to be said with it as well. But you're right. 2023, he led the team with 175 hits, almost 25 more than Cody. Then you had 2024, he had 159, almost 15 more hits than Seiya. Seiya had 145 last year. And now this year he was leading it, but now I feel like him and Kyle are going to go back and forth as our hits leader.
But the thing is, Rick, it's not about him leading the team in hits. It's not like the stat we're going for. It's just that it shows consistency.
Yeah.
And it shows that the guy can keep producing year after year after year. And he's the guy who falls in line with a guy like Dansby Swanson. When bring him from the Braves and go, well, we expect a certain thing out of him. He's on the same line. Nico is on the same level. And you go, Hap, we've had him for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, congratulations to Ian Happ for his 1,000th career Cub game.
He's one of us officially now.
I think he's one of 9 Cubs that has ever done that.
Wow.
So that's really huge. I think he is super underrated.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a guy like Hap, who's being as consistent as he is. You got a guy like Horner being as consistent as he is. Mm-hmm. And now you got Swanson coming in with that torpedo bat, cranking fucking bombs.
By the way, it was from...
That's a solid core. And then on top of that, you got Kyle Tucker.
So I will say this.
You have a built-in lineup, not even to mention PCA.
I'm going to say this, Tim. This came out Thursday. It's a little bit of sad news. The MLB has banned the torpedo bats. So Dansby won't be using it anymore. They backed them and then 2 days later said, yep, we're banning them. That was from PTI, reported that.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, PTI put that out Thursday. That the MLB has banned the torpedo bat. 2 days after, they were like, yeah, no, they're fine. We backed the torpedo bats.
Well, Rick, I think we just found our segment 3.
Bring back the torpedo bats?
I don't understand why. You can talk about it later, but I don't. That makes no sense to me.
Quick off-topic question about the torpedo bat real quick. I've heard this point several times. I want to see where you stand on it. If they if they bring back the torpedo bat and they're okay with them, let's say they are. I've heard so many people say if they're going to allow the torpedo bat, then they should put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame today.
One has nothing to do with the other.
Well, I mean, it's a hitting advantage. One's just one's making the body stronger. The other one's a tool that you're using to hit home runs. So people are correlating it to
totally
where
different.
to where it's like, well, if I can use a torpedo bat to hit home runs, this guy who smashed them but used steroids to do it, he was just trying to get a competitive advantage. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I agree with them. By the way,
you do agree with that?
I do. If they are gonna make torpedo bats,
something to talk about. That has nothing to do with. Yeah, that has nothing.
It was just a short thing. I just wanted to see where you stand. It's a very decisive opinion. It looks like right now.
Those two have nothing to do with each other.
But they're both competitive advantages.
One is a tool that everybody can use. One is a drug that enhances already available abilities.
But everyone could take steroids, is what I think people are saying.
No, not everybody can take steroids.
I mean, everyone could. Should you know? This isn't a morality question of no, you shouldn't take steroids. That's absolutely correct. But you could if you wanted to.
There's a reason
that they're banned.
There's a reason Barry Bonds never got popped.
Because it was good for baseball.
Because he's Barry Bonds.
Because he was an MVP before the steroids.
If Ryan Theriot wanted to do steroids, and there's that, random drug test. Do you think he'd still be in the league? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
More importantly, let's get it back to the Cubs. Guy you mentioned, I
can't believe you brought that up.
I think that Barry, if they're going to allow torpedo bats, then Barry should be in the Hall of Fame.
I can't believe you're comparing the torpedo bat to steroids. That's outrageous, Ricky.
It's an opinion I've heard, and I think I side on that side right now. They're both tools that you could use to help you hit the ball better.
Go further, though. Go further.
Well, it's just simple because Everyone has the same amount. Like back in the day when steroids were running rampant, everyone could have taken steroids. Everyone had the ability. It just makes you stronger. The torpedo bat is just a tool that then everyone can use. One helps your physical abilities. The other one is a tool that you use to get the upper edge. Both of them are leading to the same product, the same advantage, I would say. That's the only reason why I think about it. They're both leading to the same outcome. Better hitting, more power. That's not the debate. We're not debating if it's unnatural. We're debating is what they lead to. They both lead to the same outcome, and technically everyone can use it. Everyone could use them.
If I know you, Ricky, I know you're not an equality of outcome guy. You're an equality of...
Well, no, that's the thing. That's the thing here. And I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that you should take steroids. That is not the debate here. It's not should you take them. It's at the time everyone could. The opportunity was there for everyone, but the thing that puts a cloud over it is the morality of like, no, you shouldn't take steroids because you shouldn't. Because it could do like for every positive you get from steroids, there's a negative, like shrinking the man berries down there. Doing all that, there are negatives to it where there's no negative from using a torpedo bat. There's no negative from using a torpedo bat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
but everyone has the opportunity. That's what I'm saying. We digress, though. One guy I want to mention, because you said I better mention him, so I will. Carson Kelly. Like, I will say this. I know it's only this past week. It was only 2 games that he hit the cover off the ball. Like you said, 4 for 4 with the cycle, hitting a home run, batting in 5 against the Athletics on April 31st. But then, April 5th against the Padres, 2 for 3, 4 RBIs as well. Dude's been hitting the cover off the ball.
It's such a pleasant surprise to see how, like, thinking of how shitty our catchers are going to be this year, thinking about it, like, oh, we got to draft somebody. We got to fucking sign somebody in the offseason. And these guys are both coming in clutch. Do you know, don't look it up. Do you know the last time a Cub hit for the cycle?
Was I alive for it?
Oh, yeah. Barely. Wait. No, yeah.
So it was in the 90s?
Because you were born in what, 1977?
Go fuck yourself. Born in was it in the 90s?
It was in the 90s. It was 1993.
Mark
first baseman.
Mark Grace.
Yes.
I was going to say, originally I was going to say Mark Grace, but then I was like, no, Mark Grace wouldn't have gotten a triple. He wasn't a speed guy.
1993, Mark Grace was the last Cub to hit for the cycle.
Wow.
And 2025, Carson Kelly. Who would have thought?
One is revered for being an ultimate Cub player. The other, he's a catcher we picked up off of free agency to be our like platoon guy.
Catcher. Yeah.
So
I shit on him at the beginning of the season. I hated that guy.
So I know this is going to be a big deal for you, but it is for me. I want to know if there were betting odds on this. So in MLB The Show.
Oh, I'm sure there were.
Yes. No, there weren't, because this is totally ridiculous. In MLB The Show, after the season starts, when the players start playing well, their Diamond Dynasty cards will get a power or get surged, where all their attributes will like get bonused by like 20 plus. Who had it that the first 2 Cubs to get power surged in Diamond Dynasty were Miguel Amaya and Carson Kelly? Week 1 was Amaya. Week 2 was Kelly.
It's so fun, right?
Just and I'm not saying that, like, the worst cards you could get rating wise for Diamond Dynasty, and they're the ones that get boosted up. by like 20 attributes in each category. No, not Dansby Swanson, not Kyle Tucker. Maya and Kelly. And that is just proving how good the Cubs have been. Now, I'm going to say this only because I want to get to it. You said you had a question for me before we started.
Oh, yes, I did.
I want to get to this because this has intrigued me. I am ready.
There are players on this team that have high on-base percentages, which also translate to high OPS.
Yep.
But I don't want to talk about OPS.
Yeah. You want to go...
I want to talk about on-base percentage.
Okay, cool.
And I want to talk about... I know on-base percentage... Stop it, cat. It's a fucking cat. I know that on-base
Love when she came up and just looked at the camera.
I know. Because we're money ball guys.
Yeah.
Me and you. What I don't even want to do the whole team. Starting lineup. What is an acceptable average for the starting lineup, the starting 9 for an on-base percentage?
For on-base percentage?
What's an acceptable average for all 9 of them? Let's say going into July 31st.
I'm going to say on the very lowest, you got to be at 325. And here's the thing, right? I'm looking at OBP last year, and you got to like the teams at the top in the top 10. Cubs were actually in the top 10. We had a 317 OBP. Didn't make the playoffs, though. But you got teams like the Dodgers, who were at 335. They made the playoffs. The Yankees, they were at 333. They made the playoffs. The Brewers, 326. The Phillies, 325. The Padres, I had to double check. They made the playoffs. They were at 324. You even had the Houston.
And all these stats, by the way, are being accumulated through the whole team, too. It's not just it's beyond the starting lineup.
But I do want to throw this out, and like your question, I wouldn't have ever noticed this if you didn't ask this. Out of all those all those teams I just listed, they were all playoff teams. All 8 of them.
Yes.
Dodgers, Yankees, Brewers, Phillies, Padres, Astros. None of them had the best on-base percentage last year. None of them. There was one team above them all. And guess what?
Shit.
And you want to know the most important part of it? The team that had the best on-base percentage last year didn't make the playoffs.
Who was it?
It was. Do you want me to just say it, or do you want me to give you a hint and have you guess it?
I think I want to hear you say it.
Diamondbacks. They missed the playoffs by 4 games.
Diamondbacks.
They missed the wild card by 4 games.
Team we split with this year.
They had the best. They had the best OPB by 2. They had a 337. And then if you like switch it over to, because I know some people out there are gonna be like, but Ricky Tim, OPB isn't the preferred stat, it's OPS. All right, if you want to move the goalpost,
that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm just saying if somebody out there wants to move the goalpost and say we're talking about the wrong spot, oh, by the way, they were 2 in OPS and they still missed the playoffs. They had 777 OPS and still missed the playoffs. The Dodgers are the only team that had a better OPS than them. So that makes me think my answer that I gave you, what does it all mean, Basil? Does it even matter? Because you could have the best on-base percentage, but still miss the playoffs. Or is it just because they were in a loaded division?
You got a good point. I mean, I think you said something similar to me last year when I was talking about all I really care about in starting pitching was wins and quality starts. And it's like, well, you can't always be a winning. You could be a winning pitcher, but lose the game because your team sucks.
Yeah.
seems kind of like the same mentality.
You know what? I think we found out why they didn't make the playoffs, Tim.
Tell me.
So for you, how important is ERA to you? Does that determine a team and like how many runs they're giving up to you, or is there a different stat you look at for that?
ERA doesn't pop out to me until it's under 3.7.
Okay, they had
I don't think I pay attention until then.
They had that. I was just gonna say
sorry.
They had a combined ERA of 4.62. There were only three teams with higher ERAs than them. Yeah. The White Sox, the Marlins, and the Rockies were the only teams with higher ERAs. That's probably why they missed the playoffs.
When I said what I said, I was talking about individuals. When you were talking about teams, man, you got team ERA under 4.5. Holy hell. I don't know what to say, dude. It's just incredible.
You know what I find funny? And I know we're only through, like, some teams have played 9 games, some have played 12. Already, when I just click it up to this season, the on-base percentages right now are like what? I said 227 was the best on-base percentage last year in the MLB for a team. The Cardinals right now have a 380. Like everyone, like the Cubs right now, 350. You have the Diamondbacks also 350 on base percentage. Like, yet again, that could all be the torpedo bats. It's early too. But it's
also really early in the season.
Yeah, but like, I don't think it's a bad thing that the Cubs are getting on base a lot. We right now have a 350 on base percentage, which is almost 30 points better than we finished last year at.
I don't think you could find a person in Chicago that would tell you that's a bad thing, that we're getting on base more.
I think it's proven that we're leading the division right now.
I've noticed that they're really working the counts a lot more. I don't know if we're high in walks. I would have to ask you about that.
Let's see.
But I feel like there's really a low amount of non-quality at-bats. That makes sense?
We lead the league in walks at 66.
The inverse would be to say, I think there's a high amount of quality at-bats.
Yeah, there are. Because I'll tell you this, Tim, we lead the league with 66 walks. The Red Sox, Mariners, and Diamondbacks.
That's a great stat. That's a Craig Counsell thing.
Well, here I'm going to ask you this. Red Sox, Mariners, Diamondbacks are all tied for 2. How many walks do you think those 3 teams have in second place?
I'm sorry. What I heard.
Yeah, so the Red Sox, the Mariners, and the Diamondbacks are all tied for the second most walks. How many walks do you think they have this season? The Cubs have 66.
I can't. 66 is insane.
It is. And this makes it more insane.
I can't imagine another team has more than 45.
That's it. 45. Right on the button. 45.
See, this is why. Okay. If you're not in the Discord, I don't know why you're not following me and Ricky. Because when we're on, we're fucking on, dude. I don't know what you're doing if you're not following us. But go ahead, Rick.
Here's another stat about our hitting that blows my mind right now, and I just clicked on it. We lead the league in RBIs. We have 74. The second place team, or the second best RBI team, is the Yankees at 73. Let me just put this into comparison here. The Yankees are at 73 right behind us, and they needed a 20-run game to get there. They needed the torpedo bat game to get there. All of our guys weren't using torpedo bats. Like, that's put into perspective of how great the Cub hitting has been right now.
The Cubs already had an 18-run game to themselves.
I forgot.
That's the thing, is that they're already producing, and they're already coming through with their runs and their bats. And the only problem that really is coming through and they're faced with is what happens when we get to the 7th inning and we're only up by 2 runs and we have to deal with our bullpen. Are we only going to rely on Porter Hodge? We can't rely on Ryan Presley. We can't rely on Thielbar. I don't. Ricky. I feel like me and you are just bashing ourselves in the head with a hammer, going bullpen, 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 bullpen.
Yeah,
it's unfair. Why are they? They did everything they were supposed to do except address the bullpen.
Yeah,
Jed, I'm going to give you this. Kyle Tucker is the Superman that we wanted and we needed. I want to ask you this, Ricky.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to go way off to the side here.
Get me here.
Because I want to say, who's the last guy that Kyle Tucker has reminded you of? Because I was talking about this with some friends.
The last guy?
And a few names popped up from the years. And I'll share the 3 names that have popped up.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Share those 3 names, or do you want to go first?
No, you share them, because I haven't even thought about this.
I'm going to go backwards in time. Okay? I want to take you back.
Take me in the way back.
To a time before Donald Trump was president. It was early May, June of 2016. And a young kid named Kyle Bryant was coming up.
Kyle Bryant or Chris Bryant?
Chris Bryant.
In this sense, it's Kyle Bryant.
I feel like such an asshole for saying Kyle Bryant.
It's Kyle Tucker and Chris Bryant. It's Kyle Bryant.
I know. I get them confused. The hype and the delivery was the same thing. Now, Chris Bryant was a rookie coming up, bringing his stature up there. Kyle Tucker is an already established guy. I understand that. I'm going to take you further back.
Okay.
Let's go a little bit further back. Go about 20 years back. 2005, Derek Lee.
That one fits better because he wasn't brought up through our system.
We got him from Florida, I think.
Already a World Series champion. He beat us in 97.
Now I'm going to go wild on this one, Rick. We're going to go back to 1998.
Sammy Sosa?
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I got another guy we traded for.
Sure did, from Texas.
I think we traded... No, was it Texas or was it the White Sox? I think it was with the White Sox first.
Oh, you might. You're probably right.
He was with the White Sox.
You're right.
Because it was weird that, like, when I was a kid, and they're like, oh, yeah, Sammy played for the White Sox. I'm like, no, he didn't. It's like, oh, yeah, he did. I'm going to stat check us here.
I just vomited a bunch of lore onto you.
Now,
what do you have to say about that?
While you were talking, I did think to myself, Sammy Sosa. Because, like, in my head, I'm thinking, because you said Chris Bryant. And the first thing I thought of was, yeah, but we drafted Chris Bryant. Tucker's a trade. Like, who did we trade for? Bryant. Yeah, but we know what you meant. And the first name that came to my mind was Sammy Sosa.
Fuck me.
So, do you remember who we traded for Sosa?
No.
So we traded outfielder George Bell for Sosa and Ken Patterson.
Ooh.
The White Sox.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
The White Sox, theirs for Sosa was a big fucking deal. Because remember, they traded Harold Baines in the trade to get Sosa. And fans did not like that. Yeah. Harold Baines is like revered with the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got rid of their boy.
Mm-hmm. Was that the last which Baines, came back to the team and was a coach for over a decade with them. Yeah, he would come back to play for the White Sox in 96, 97 after being with the Rangers, the A's, and the Orioles. But yeah, no, Kyle Tucker's been absolutely insane. And Tim, this is where I'm going to lead us in a little different direction to end the show on. A little brief discussion. So right now, the big thing, if you type Cubs into Google, one of the first things that's going to pop up is Kyle Tucker, extension, Kyle Tucker. After that is us trading for a starting pitcher. Mm-hmm. Tim, the question I'm going to start off this conversation with is, are we overreacting to an extension being done right away because he's playing well, but also because now we saw Vladdy get paid with the Jays, and now it's like in the hierarchy, it's like, oh, Vladdy was always the top dog. He was always the one that's like, oh man, if he doesn't sign, he's the best free agent. Now it's Kyle Tucker. Now Kyle Tucker's the one that's like, yeah, if the Cubs don't sign him, he's going to be approached by everybody in the offseason.
I gotta ask GM Ricky. Mm-hmm. This is his last year as a Cub?
Yes, he is on a contract year.
What kind of contract can we offer him?
So I will say this right now. So right now he's making 16.5. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. To use it in perspective, Vlad Guerrero Jr. just signed a $500 million 14-year contract.
Fuck out of here. I mean, like, come on, get the fuck out of here.
For what? For 14 years? So he's making 35.7 a year? To put it in yearly average?
I want to reiterate to the audience that Ricky is... A lot of you don't know this, but Ricky is involved in the Cubs organization in the front office. It really bugs me to know this. I'm jealous of him, but he is in there, and we need to respect his authority.
Wow.
What kind of contract do you think we could get out of Kyle Tucker? And B, how old is he?
He is right now 28. He just turned 28 on January 17th. The greatest birthday in the world.
Would you give him an 8-year contract?
Say that one more time.
Or less. Would you give Kyle Tucker an 8-year contract or less? Not whatever the money is. Would you commit 8 years to him or no?
Yes. He's 28. He's 28, dude. The only thing I'll put it this way, and the Vlad Guerrero contract is going to be the one that everyone like kind of looks at right now. Is he going to get Vlad money? Maybe not. But if he had money, but if he has
money, the money's going to be
there. But even years here's the thing. The Blue Jays offered Vlad 14 years, right? Vlad's 2 years younger than Kyle.
Yeah.
So Vlad's 26, Tucker's 28. if Vlad's getting 14.
A lot of players don't make it 14 years, and they offered him 14 years, 4 years into his career.
Yeah.
That's incredibly stupid.
So, like, by the end of the contract, he will be, 40? So, basically, he's saying, like, basically Blue Jay for life.
I guess so.
Basically, Vlad's going to be a Blue Jay for life. Unless he's traded.
I assume that they're eventually going to try to trade the contract.
Okay. Not this year, but like
when that salary per year becomes the norm.
Yeah.
In maybe 10 years, whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it just doesn't seem worth it. Like, you sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a 14-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
4 years in, he goes, I want to play for another team. Boom. You have to trade him.
You don't have to.
Like, that's a players' league.
Yeah, you don't have to, though. That's
Yeah, but like, it almost means you have to.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The good thing though with the Cubs though, and like I'm looking, so like if we're looking at guys, right? So like Shota after this year has a mutual option of 15.2. So basically it's like either one could just say yes and boom, he's back at 15.2. Justin Steele will be looking into arbitration 3. Javier Assad arbitration 1. Ben Brown goes into pre-arbitration. The only guys that are UFAs for us at the end of the year, these are the names, Tim. Ryan Presley, Ryan Brazier, Caleb Thielbar, Brad Keller, and John Birdie and Kyle Tucker. Those are the only ones that will not have arbitration at all. They're straight up UFAs.
So the cumulative age is what, 35 on that?
Let's see. Kyle Tucker's 28.
Get fucked.
Birdie's 35.
We're not bringing Thielbar back. We're not bringing Presley back.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Presley, Brazier, and Thielbar, 36, 37, 38.
Yes, fuck you.
But like that is to me, I look at that and I go, all right, this is good. The Cubs just need to focus on Kyle Tucker. I don't really care if a deal gets done now, as long as a deal gets done this year. However, Tim, I will say this, it might be in the Cubs' favor to get a deal done sooner rather than later, because here's my fear per se. My fear per se is that Kyle Tucker will continue to be playing as well, or if not a little bit worse, even if he drops, it's still phenomenally. And then if you get to halfway through the year, he goes, you know what? Maybe I will test free agency. Maybe I will see if a team values me a little bit more. The longer this goes on, I fear that Kyle might get in his head that, hey, how much does this team really value me? Look at what I'm doing. And I don't have a contract extension yet. Does this team even want me?
Well, Rick, I'll do you one better.
Mm-hmm.
If Kyle Tucker is really in tune on moving on after the Cubs, what's to keep him from doing his best baseball this season?
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense why he's cranking homers. He's going to have 8 homers by the end of fucking April.
Yeah.
That's his audition tape for, hey, take me, other teams. If he's really in that mindset, I don't think he is.
So, question for you.
But like, what would make him a better candidate than doing a great job?
So, question for you. Do you think Kyle Tucker right now, beginning of the year, is thinking extension or thinking off season getting that contract?
Oh,
do you think he's thinking about being a Cub long term, or is he thinking, hey, you know what? If they offer me something, I'm not going to say no right away. I'll hear them out. But if I get to free agency, I'm not going to be mad.
If I'm Kyle Tucker, I'm thinking extension.
Okay.
Just because it's this early in the year, we don't know what this team could be.
Plus, the Cubs are playing phenomenally.
Dude, take those 2 fucking Japanese, Korean games out of it, whatever.
Yeah.
We're 7-3.
By the way, quick aside.
8-3 tonight.
Can I do a quick aside here? A quick Javier aside? Sure. Currently, we're recording this. Cubs are just ending the 4th, already up 2-1, or already up 2-0 on the Rangers.
That's what I'm saying.
Second inning, Miguel Amaya sacrifice fly, scored Michael Busch. And in the 3rd inning, Ian Happ grounded to center, grounded into a fielder's choice, scored birdie. 2-0 Cubs.
It'd be a crying shame if Kyle Tucker decided to take his talents elsewhere, LeBron James style.
Yep.
I would understand it, but at this point, it wouldn't make any sense for him to be considering another team because it's A, 1, too early, and B, you're the best hitting team in baseball right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would literally make no sense.
Do you
for
think
him to be like, I don't want to be here?
I'm gonna flip it now on you because I just had this thought while we were talking.
Flip it on me.
Let's flip it to the front office. Are they playing a little bit of a pussyfoot? Because is the front office thinking, and this is what I just thought, are they doing this of, you know what, let's not get a deal done right now. It's going to cost us more money because he's playing well. Let's see if he keeps it up. Let's see if we can get him for cheaper in the middle of the season. Or is it going to like bite him in the butt where it's like, wow, we should have got that deal done in April because it would have been a little bit cheaper.
No, I don't think he's the type of talent to like wait on and play into
I agree.
halfway through the year and be like, maybe we can get him for what, $500,000. I mean, these guys are fucking millionaires anyways.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it doesn't really matter. But like, no, they're greedy. They're greedy motherfuckers. There's no way. There's no way.
Like I will say I'm looking at next year's free agency because obviously you got to keep that in mind. You got to look ahead.
Oh, of course, yeah. And you're the GM. You have to tell us.
I just will say this. This is me giving my advice to the Cubs front office. It would behoove them not to fuck this up.
Behoove.
And the reason why I say this is we have 3 big free agents that are UFAs next year. We have leader in hits, Nico Horner, his Robin and Ian Happ, and Seiya Suzuki. All 3 of them are free agents at the end of next season.
Is that real?
And don't tell me, yes, 2027, end of 2026, Ian Happ, Nico Horner, Seiya Suzuki. Do not try to tell me that none of them, all of them, all 3 of them are watching the Kyle Tucker situation and seeing how it's handled. They're looking, they're watching, they're not going to get involved in the business, but they're going to observe it because they're like, you know what? That's going to be me next year. And I want a little bit of a preface of how this team wheels and deals.
I think we just figured out our next topic that's not going to be discussed tonight.
Yes.
Fans, I'm sorry.
You're saying in the future.
Discussed tonight. But maybe in the future we talk about, is it possible to keep all 3?
Can I give you a quick side answer without answering the whole thing?
I think you should not give me an answer and wait until next episode.
I will tease with this. I won't give the answer, but I'll give a half answer. I named 3: Happ, Horner, Seiya Suzuki. My half answer is one of them will not be a Cub after next season.
2 out of 3.
Yep. One of them will not be a Cub after next season. You guys let me know down below who do you think that's going to be. Who do you think I think that'll be? Who do you think Tim thinks that'll be? And who do you think it'll be?
Well, Ricky, are you going to say who you think it's going to be next episode?
Next episode I will. If we talk about it next episode, I will.
Then yeah, you gotta fucking find out.
Yeah. Let me know who you think. I mean, down below, because one of those three will not be with the Cubs after next season. Do you think all three will stay? Or there's a chance all three will stay?
Oh man, there's two answers I want to give.
Okay.
Do I think they will, or do I think it can happen?
Give me the second one. Do you think it can happen?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it definitely can happen.
Yeah, I don't think so, and one will be
easily
gone.
Can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it will happen.
Yeah. Well,
I think there's some position they think they can upgrade on, and they might be wrong, and they might be right. But I don't think it will happen. I don't think all three of them are there.
So, with that being said, Tim, we're going to make a little bit of a change per the request of Tim Shaw over here. So, Tim came to me and he's like, you know what? I don't like how we do the end of the show. I don't like how we give wins and losses because we were I was kind of negative about this team. I had us only winning 2 games, Tim. So we're making a quick change to the end of the podcast. We're still going to take a look at the week ahead of us. We're just not going to openly give records because Tim explaining his thoughts to me, I agree with him. It kind of feels bad when you're like, oh, this team's only going to win 2-8. And you're like, but I want them to win all of them. I want to root for this team to win all the games.
And then they win 4-1. You feel like an asshole.
Yeah. Being right. Is it like what a couple of my buddies would say? Are you hedging your bet there? Like, hey, if I'm wrong, cool, the Cubs win. But if I'm right, yes, I was right.
Little bit.
So coming up the next 2 weeks, obviously we're playing the Rangers right now. We're winning. Let me double check to see if that did not change, Tim, in the last few seconds we were talking. Right now, as we are recording, bottom of the 5th, Cubs are up 2-0 still. We play the Texas Rangers 2 more games, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we have a 3-game stint in LA against the Dodgers. And then on Monday, as we're recording our next podcast, we'll be playing the San Diego Padres again, our 4th game against them. Tim, great shot right there. That's what's going at the beginning of the podcast now. Tim just stands up and gives me a crotch shot.
Fuck you.
Tim gives me a good old crotch shot. Tim, question for you. We play 3 tough I'm going to say tough opponents. Dodgers,
sure,
best team in baseball. Padres,
yep.
I know we went 2-1 against them, but let's not forget how dangerous the Padres can be. And Texas, yes, we're winning right now, but Texas is the beatable one. That's the one where we should be on level playing field. It's really the Dodgers and Padres because the Dodgers we've already played. They beat us twice. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. And 2, the Padres, yes, we beat them at home. Can we beat them on the road? That's really my biggest question is, can we beat the Padres on the road?
I mean, probably not, but I do relish that we're getting these tough teams out of the way early.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big thing.
Remember, we don't get a breather until May.
I don't think the Padres are as tough as the Cubs.
The hitting has been good. I will say this. When it comes to the Padres, the Monday game will be the test, Tim. The Monday game will be the test because the thing I brought up to you before we started, when we played the Padres at home this last weekend, we dodged Dylan Cease. Well, this time we don't dodge him. Monday it'll be Dylan Cease versus Jameson Taillon. Right now it's scheduled to be Taillon Cease.
And I know this shouldn't matter. This stat I'm about to bring up.
Go ahead.
It really shouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with real life or anything to do with the Padres or Dylan Cease, for that matter. But Ricky and I played the new MLB The Show 25.
Uh-huh.
And
I know what you're gonna say.
Ricky played as the Padres.
Uh-huh.
And he played as Dylan Cease.
Mm-hmm.
And this motherfucker would throw
a changeup
after changeup after changeup after changeup.
He's got a good changeup.
I worry about that changeup.
Yep. You saw it firsthand.
Worry about that changeup, Rick? Should we?
I'm worried about Dylan Cease in general. That's going to be a game where we got to be on our A game because he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He is, dare I say, an ace.
I wouldn't argue with you on that one.
Tim had to think about it for a second.
All.
You had to think about it for a second. I will say, too, the other thing, not to flip it away from the Padres, but the Dodgers. We play them in a 3-game series in LA, which hard place to play. The bats for the Dodgers are going to come to play, no doubt. However, I will say the one thing I'm kind of interested about is, so the last time we played the Dodgers, the 2 pitchers that we saw in game 1, we saw Yamamoto, and Yamamoto against us went 5 innings of 1-run ball, 3 hits. Game 2, we faced Roki Sasaki. Only lasted 3 innings. Yeah, he only gave up a run and 1 hit, but he walked 5 batters. And the one thing I'm noticing from Sasaki early in the year, the kid hasn't he hasn't lost a game. He hasn't given up a lot of runs. But Tim, this past Saturday was the first game that he didn't give up 4 or more walks. The kid will walk you if you let him, and that's where the Cubs need to exploit Roki.
That's where the Cubs are going to come in, is because they know that this guy, this rookie, can get flustered in terms of like when it comes to a 2-2 count, he might try to paint those corners and really be obvious with it, draw walks. What he isn't capable of doing is looking at like people that like talk to him about like how he can improve his game, and he doesn't listen to how people from the other team can also influence how he approaches the game. What he should be doing is listening to the Wrecking Crew. This is what really bugs me, is that like there's so many players out there that don't listen to the Wrecking Crew. And it's so easy, Ricky. It's so easy. It's free. It's right there on YouTube.
Easily accessible.
And they're just ignoring it.
No, they are.
And why, Rick? Why?
Because they hate us till they ain't us. Or they hate us because they ain't us? Is that the line?
That's what I said.
They hate us because they ain't us. The one point I was going to say, too, is the pitchers that we're scheduled to see for the Dodgers, Roki, Glasnow, May. We could have a possibility to get to Roki, get to Glasnow. May is going to be a tough one. But overall, with the Dodgers, if the Cubs are going to win any of those games, we got to be hitting early. Because the one thing with the Dodgers, and I've seen it already this season, you get to that bullpen, game over. Game over. And the thing that I fear is if the Cubs don't get out to leads against the Dodgers early, Dodgers get a lead, becomes a bullpen game. Dodgers bullpen way better than ours. Locks down us. Our bullpen blows the game. Because the Dodgers do have the best bullpen in baseball.
Yeah.
They have the best bullpen in baseball. I don't even think the bullpen, let's see, can I even look up bullpen stats? Bullpen stats. I don't even know if they've given up a run this year.
I don't think you can unless you're like really diligent about it.
Right here, top five bullpen ERAs this year. They're right now the Dodgers have a 2.24 bullpen ERA. There's only 3 bullpens that have given up less runs than them. The Giants, the Padres, and the Mets. The Cubs bullpen, is at a 5.18 ERA. We have only we have 9 teams with worse ERAs, which is not the worst. It's not good that we're at +5 though.
Not the worst, isn't the best.
Yeah.
Like you said.
It'd be worse if we were where Washington was, where they're at a 6.46 bullpen ERA. The Cubs, though, I will say, let's see. The Dodgers bullpen has only given up 3 home runs, same as the Cubs. So home runs haven't been the issue for us. But yeah, that's where it scares me with that series, bullpen. Padres, too, they have a good bullpen. The thing that we won't have.
How could it not?
No. The thing that we won't have these next 2 series, that Wrigley Field. Dodger Stadium's going to be bigger. The Padres Stadium has weird outfield dimensions.
Oh, I didn't realize we're on the road.
Yeah, we're on the road for the next. So we play Texas at home next 2.
I didn't know that.
And then we're on the road
crazy.
in LA and San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the road for those. So yet again, I will say this. I am cautiously pessimistic. I am hoping to be proven wrong again this week because I am nervous. I'll be honest, I'm probably going to be nervous the most of April because we just played top-end teams in the MLB. But as a buddy of mine always says, water always finds its balance. So there will be parts of the season that are easier than others.
I like that.
I'll be honest, I love it. It helps me. I'm a big gambler, Tim. It always helps me with gambling because if I have a bad day, like yesterday was a loss of a day, I just sit back and go, hey, water always finds its balance. It's not going to be like this forever. But then when I win a lot and I then have a day where I lose a lot, I go, water always finds its balance. Just a different tone. One's more optimistic. The other's like, oh man, water always finds its balance. Tim, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
I really want to shout out Kyle Tucker for doing as well as he's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line has been
You're watching those Bears clips, but getting ready for the draft.
I know. I'm doing football. No, I mean, it's really hard to find a fault in this team other than the bullpen.
It's early,
and I hate just reiterating myself over and over, being like, "Oh, the bullpen's a problem."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know the bullpen's a problem. I don't want to keep saying this over and over. Change the fucking bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to say. Change the fucking bullpen. I don't want to have to keep saying this over and over.
Eventually, the Cubs are going to need to make a trade for either one of 2 things: a solid bullpen arm,
closer,
or a solid starting arm, and move one of the guys from the rotation into the bullpen.
Oh, you're dipping into Tim territory there.
A little bit, yeah. But like those are the 2 options. Like one of the names I saw out there was like Luis Castillo from the Mariners. Like if we traded for Luis Castillo, yes, I am moving Ben Brown to the bullpen.
Ben Brown.
Like I'm moving someone to the bullpen. We only got 5 starter spots.
Mm.
So like if we trade for a starting arm, yes, someone's got to move.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But that is going to do it for the Wrecking Crew this week. Remember, if you want to support us, Patreon's down below. Join the MVP Discord. Greatest community in the universe. Hit that sub button, that like button. It
really is, guys. I mean, like, it's the greatest community ever. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody get in there.
Tim, you used to be a part of it.
Ricky suck about talking about the Cubs. Tell us we suck. Get in the comments, in the Discord.
Hit that sub button.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Hit that sub button. Smash that sub button.
We gotta get that animation of Kyle Tucker smashing that like button.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
With the bat. Nico Horner sliding in, swiping that sub button. But thank you guys for everything you do. Tim, we'll be back in a week. As always, have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.